reporters always lose without a free and open press. That's a fact. So your news organizations are paying you less. They're laying you off, or they're making you take furloughs. You're getting roughed up. Kenny, that happened to you the other day, man. You're getting roughed up. You're getting arrested and blinded at protests, and President Trump is calling you scumbags who should be executed. It's a great time to be a journalist, right? What a great time to be a journalist. But the truth is, we need you now more than ever. We're all human, and of course you guys make mistakes, just like the people whose mistakes you write about. And you have to admit, sometimes you take unfair hits at us. I'm just gonna say it. Not any of you here today, of course, that's not who I'm referring to, but other reporters out there. For example, you know, those columnists who think that women in elected office can't make decisions without a man pulling her strings. There are plenty of times when I felt that I've been covered unfairly, and that's putting it mildly, very nicely actually. But whatever, look, I forgive them. Because I'll tell you what, I would much rather suffer an occasional unfairly harsh story than live in a world without a free and robust press. And I stand with you today in support of a free and robust press, especially the local press. Because it's local reporting that time and again has exposed the horrors of rapes and assaults in nursing homes and in Chicago public schools, of political corruption that needs to be rooted out at all levels, of violence in our streets and devastation that comes with it, and most recently has been instrumental on the front lines of covering the righteous indignation and the important protests against racism and police brutality and the murder of George Floyd. Also, the unrighteous criminal acts of opportunists and the brutal and heavy-handed response of a president who talks about the press as an enemy of the people and who would love nothing more than to see newsrooms be dismantled piece by piece, reporter by reporter. Every morning, I wake to read my two local papers, the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Tribune. And then I hop online. It's like my routine. I'm giving you guys a lead up to my routine. You know, I wake up, I have my coffee going, I read the Trib, I read the Sun-Times, and then I hop online to see what's going on with WBZ, amongst other news outlets here. And I count on all of them to tell me what's going on. Oftentimes, their coverage has motivated me and many other elected leaders to take corrective action. Their stories have spurred legislation that safeguards seniors and children, to make workplaces safer and less discriminatory. Their stories have led to influencing policy in a way that eliminates the disparities in healthcare. The stories about how COVID-19 has decimated Black and brown communities, especially right here in Chicago, will lead to fundamental changes. They're not just stories. They're the spark that starts a fire that illuminates the truth and inspires those of us in positions of influence to do something to fix what ails us.
Yeah! Woo!
When I'm spending every day trying to open up government and make it serve people better, you're not the enemy, you're a critical ally. I'm a firm believer that what the public wants is transparency within their government. I've tried to make transparency a hallmark of my administration. Most recently, as soon as the state started spending money to fight COVID-19 as controller, I launched a transparency portal on my website so that you and all taxpayers could see how Illinois was spending money to fight the pandemic. Now, a lot of you, reporters have used that portal to do stories to inform the public, and that is exactly how it should be. An Associated Press story the Associated Press wrote a story on our portal that led to other outlets such as the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and the Tampa Bay Times having held up my portal as the standard that other states should follow for transparency on COVID-19 spending. Look, basically, some reporter somewhere read the first story and wondered, why isn't my state doing that? Our state should also have that level of transparency. I need to write about that. So one story sparked a bunch more in different states, which ultimately will result in greater COVID-19 financial government transparency across the entire country. That's how this works. Now, I've traveled the state over the years, talking to editorial boards from Belleville to Rockford. And today, many of those commentary sections are dying or already gone. Some of those newspapers have suffered such cutbacks that they're not even doing editorials anymore. And those local voices are being silenced. We need local journalism. We need local journalists empowered to do their jobs. And we need to remember that a free press is enshrined by the First Amendment of the Constitution. It's the bedrock of our democracy.
Oh yeah.
It's the bedrock. The press has come under attack by people at the highest levels, including the President of the United States, who has dubbed them as the enemy of the people. Now, this should not just worry members of the press. This should worry every single American, because an attempt to silence the press is an attack on all of us. That's what totalitarian governments do. They silence the press and then they shut down its people. Make no mistake about it. While hedge fund investors are amassing obscene personal wealth by acquiring struggling local newsrooms and stripping them of all of their talented assets, we, the people, suffer right along with those journalists. We're seeing it right here in Chicago with the Chicago Tribune. And God knows, I never thought I'd be standing in an event trying to save the Chicago Tribune. But that's the world we live in today, right? I mean, now, I ain't gonna lie. I've often used their editorial opinion page and a few of their columnist pages as awesome lining for my birdcage. Not the ones where they endorse me. Those were really good ones. Those are on the wall somewhere. But you know what I mean. Look, the fact of the matter is, the Trib's daily beat and investigative reporters, this is a fact, are some of the greatest in the country. We need to fight for them, because news matters. It informs, it exposes, it protects, and it's the most American of institutions. So that's why I'm here with you today, standing up for our very democracy in the most critical time of our history right now. So I have a message for Chicago investors, for philanthropists, for civic boosters who care about our city and care about democracy. Now is the time to step up to the plate and invest in local news so that these reporters can keep doing their most important work. Thank you to all of you that are fighting the good fight here. Keep standing up for justice. Keep standing up for freedom and democracy. We are here with you in solidarity. And most importantly, keep telling your readers, your listeners, and viewers what's going on, because we need you.